welcome back again. I hope that everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and of course the best year ever. We had a wonderful Christmas by the grace of God. I had been sick before Christmas. My dog was sick before Christmas, but we got all the shopping done. We got all the presents wrapped and all the food made and had a wonderful family dinner. So I apologize for not doing a video in a while, but it was a really busy time for me. So now another little holiday is coming up, February 14th. I thought it would be cute to work on some hearts. And these 3 hearts, actually 4 hearts, are all made exactly the same way, just different size and shape cubes. These are made beads, I'm sorry. These are made with 4mm cubes. These are made with 8mm round seed beads. This one as well. And this I made with 6mm round seed beads, which did not come out very well. I was just trying the different sizes, and somehow I botched this up. The larger seed bead left a lot of spaces at the top, and I was just trying to see what it would be like if I filled it in with 11/0 seed beads, and it will work out well if I pay a little bit more attention to what I was doing. Obviously I didn't here, so this is not a good example, but it can be done with the size 6/0 seed beads. But I don't have it down yet to show you. So what we will be working with today is the cubes, because the cubes are easier to see for a beginner. And if you are a beginner, I would start with the cubes rather than the 8/0 seed beads, because this is a little hard to get a grip on and get started if you aren't familiar with the stitch. So, and this one isn't finished. I had seen a video I wanted to show you, another video on YouTube that another company made, and I really loved it. The only thing I don't like about it is it's flimsy. So if you're going to be making earrings or a necklace, I mean, it's not sturdy. So what I was thinking, and I'll work on that if I have enough time, try to get it done in time for Valentine's Day, is to make another seed bead heart to fit inside and attach it somehow, and that would make it more sturdy and actually I think very pretty. Let's put this on top of the thread. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult to implement one with the other. So hopefully I'll be able to do that so I can show you. This is actually made with super duos and seed beads. But that's not what we're working on today. Okay, so I'm going to get these guys, put them aside. I'll leave this one out for us to compare. These are made with a brick stitch. We'll be making a row with 2, a row with 3 cubes, 4 cubes, 5 cubes, 6 cubes, 7 cubes, 8 cubes, 9 cubes, 10 cubes. And they're all increased rows of brick stitch. And up here, these two, just these 2 at the top, are decreased rows. So I'll show you the decrease when we get to that. All rows start with 2 beads. Since we're working with cube beads, it's 2 cube beads. And I am working with black thread because I thought it would be easier for you to see. Here's one I started, so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about thread bridges. So let's get started. You pick up 2 cube beads, slide them down to the end, leaving about a 6-inch tail. I had pulled off about an arm's length of thread. You could put a stop bead on if you want, but you really don't need to, because we're going right back through those cube beads. and that's going to keep it from falling off. Okay, so my thread is through. I'm going to pull it. See how the thread is, or can't you see? All right, you see this thread? We are going to pull the thread and pull them to sit next to each other. Then I'm going to go back through. Here we're coming out of the right. We're going back up through the left, down through the right, and back up through the red. And the only reason I do that in the beginning is because I like my base to be nice and secure. So now we have our base row, which is 2 cube beads. Every row, whether it's increase or decrease, is going to start with 2 beads. So I'm picking up 2 cube beads. And here is the thread bridge that are holding those 2 beads together, the bottom row. We're going underneath that thread bridge. We're going to pull our needle through and maybe give it a little help to sit next to each other. And then we're going to go back up through the cube closest to us. We always want to be working with towards us. Is that right? Yeah. Just came back up through the second row and we're working in this direction. We have 2 on top of 2. We need to pick up 1 more to make this row 3 cube beads wide. Since we don't have another thread bridge on the end of each row that's increasing, we're sharing using that same thread bridge again. And what it's going to want to do is sit in front of it. We just poke it till it comes around the side. Then go back up the bottom of that cube and pull them all taut. We have 3 now, our row of 3. I'm turning it so that the working thread is away from me, and I straighten it out a little bit so that the 2 are centered. The working thread is away from me and I'm going to be working towards me. Tighten it up a little bit. Starting every row, we're picking up 2 cube beads. Now we have 2 thread bridges to work with. We go in increase row. We always go in the first thread bridge, the first bridge that's between the first 2 beads. Go through. Sometimes they want to get tangled. Just give them a little nudge. They'll sit next to each other. Come back up the bottom of the cube closest to you. Pull them taut. Pick up 1 more cube bead. We have 2. This is the 3rd. And we're going through the next thread bridge. Pulling it. It should sit next to it. Go back up the bottom of that bead. Pull it taut. So we have 3 beads on 3. We want 4. So we're picking up 1 more cube bead. And again, we're sharing that last thread bridge. And what's going to happen is this bead wants to sit in front of it. We're just going to knock it around so that it sits next to it. Go back up through the bottom of that last bead. And now we have our row with 4 beads. We have 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go all the way up to 10. I'm going to do 1 more row, and then you can pause your video and work up till you have 10 across. So we're still increasing, and you will increase all the way up till the point that you have 10, and then turn your video back on. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Still increasing, and at the first of every row you start with 2 cube beads, go through the first thread bridge, pull it through slowly. Too fast it's going to get tangled. Get them to sit next to each other, bring your needle back up through the cube bead closest to you. Don't get caught on anything else. So we have 2 out of the 5. Pick up 1 more cube bead, go through the second thread bridge, pull, give it a nudge to sit next to the others, go back up through the bottom and pull, making sure you don't get caught on the beads on the underneath or anything else. I get tangled into everything. Pick up another cube bead. This is our last thread bridge because we only have 4 underneath. That's going to be the shared thread bridge. Go back up through that cube bead, pull it taut. So we have 4 beads now. And here's number 5. Pick up the 5th. We're going back through, which is a little sticky sometimes, because if you miss that thread bridge, you're going to wind up coming out of the top thread bridge. You don't want to do that. Okay, through shared thread bridge. It wants to sit in the front. We're going to push it around to the side and go back up through. You're going to flip your work over so that your working thread is away from you and you're working towards you. And you continue in that pattern, starting with 2 beads, to increase 1 every row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your next row will be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you can pause your video now, and at number 10, stop and turn your video back on, and I will show you how to make the hearts on the top. Okay, here we are at row number 11. We have 10. We're still doing an increase row, so we're going to pick up 2 cube beads, go through the first thread bridge, just like we have been doing. Only this guy doesn't want to cooperate because I did tangle him a little. Go back up through the bead closest to you because you are working towards yourself. Only this time we're only going to put 5 beads there. So we have 2. Pick up 1 more cube bead. Go through the next thread bridge will be 3. Sit next to it. Pick up another cube bead. Will be 4. Whoops. Now, this happens a lot. I tried to pick up 1 and 2 jumped on there. I'm glad I caught it. Pull it off and get rid of one of those. Okay, 1 cube bead. We're going through the next thread bridge. This is bead number 4. Back up through the bottom. One to get caught on the side here. And 1 more. Pick up 1 more. That's 5. Going through the next thread bridge. Now this is our last increase row, but we're only doing one side at a time. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to flip it over, and now we're going to start a decrease row. And there will only be 4. So what we do to decrease is we still pick up our 2 cube beads. We skip over the first thread bridge and go into the second thread bridge. Pull it, Go up through the bottom of the bead closest to you. Straighten the little devils out so they're sitting next to each other. Don't worry if it's bent out a little bit. Pick up one more cube bead. Is 3. There's our third bead. We're only going to be using 4. Pick up one more cube bead. Go through the thread bridge, the last thread bridge that we don't have to share this time, and go up the bottom of that last bead. Pull your thread tight, flip it over. Now we are going to be doing 3, and it's another decrease row, but we still pick up 2 cube beads. Go through the second, we're decreasing, go through the second thread bridge, pull, go up through the bottom of the second bead, the one that's closest to you, and this row is 3 beads long. So we're picking up one more, going under the next thread bridge, pulling and going back, back up, try to get them to straighten out. Now what we need to do, let me take this leather off here so you can see this heart better. We need to do the other side. And I put this little decoration with 11 seed beads on the top, but I do that at the end. And I also do on the end, I put my wire protector and my jump ring for wherever I'm going to hang it. So to get to, let me move these guys out of my way. To get to, we need the thread. You could do one of two things. You could follow the thread path the way that I do, or you can do a go down through 3 beads, do a slip knot, go through another bead and cut it and start again over here. But I find it easier just to, I go back down the center of this bead, the middle bead, the one underneath I go through, number 2. It really doesn't matter which ones you go through. What matters is you're following the pattern and no thread is going to be sticking out anywhere. So then I'm going to go down through here, go down through another one. This is my row of 10, because that's where I want to come out on the end. Actually, these are going to need to be tightened up here. All right. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not going to work as far as go up, down, up, down, up, down. We want the thread coming up. So wherever you are, make sure you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm starting going up the 5th bead, and my thread is sitting right in that row. I'm going down the 4th, up the 3rd, down the 2nd. I'm just weaving my way back to where I want to be to do the other side, and up the 1st. Now I'm coming out the 1st. My tail wants to get in there. facing the work away from me, so I'm working towards me. We're going to start again. You're going to pick up 2 cube beads. Every row starts with 2. This is actually still an increase row, which you're not really increasing. We're only going to do 5. We're going through the first thread bridge, pulling, then going back up through the cube bead closest to us. We're going to have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have 5 beads. So that's 2. Pick up 1. Go through the next thread bridge. Now we should have 3. Go back up through the bottom. Pick up another cube bead. Go through the next thread bridge. Right here. Up through the bottom. We're at 4. Pick up 1 more. Go through the next thread bridge. Pull it and go back up through the bottom. We're going to flip it over so the working thread is away from me. And this is our first decrease row, but we're still picking up 2 cube beads. And instead of going through the first thread bridge, we're decreasing, so we're going into the second thread bridge. Pulling them, they twisted, so I'm going to untwist them. It does happen. And then back up through the bottom of the last bead I put on. Push them in to sit next to each other. I'll go back down again through the top beads if I find it necessary at the end, but since I'm going to be putting these guys on, more than likely that's going to straighten it out. Okay, so I'm picking up another cube bead, going in the very next thread bridge, under the next thread bridge, back up through. So we have 1, 2, 3. We want 4. Pick up 1 more. We're going through the last thread bridge, and we don't have to share it this time because we're decreasing. And then back up through the bottom. Flip it over. Now we have our row of 4. Now we need a row of 3. So we're picking up 2 at the beginning. It's a decrease row. So we're not going in the first thread bridge, we're going in the second one. Going under, twist it again, and going back up. Try to get them to sit next to each other. Pick up 1 more. Go through the last thread bridge that we don't have to share. And back up. Now I do not like thread showing at the top or bottom of anything, and actually these seed beads not only decorate it, It helps to straighten it out and cover the thread, except that I'm using black thread, and you will not see the thread if you're using white. If you use this, I used black on, was fine. So what I did here, there are 3. 1, 2, 3. I picked up 3 seed beads. I'm coming out. It doesn't really matter which way you're going on this one. I picked up 3 seed beads. I'm coming out of the end and going down through the middle. And what I'm going to do is go down one more row and back up the last 2 here. That'll help straighten it out on the end. And then I'm going to repeat that, pick up 3 seed beads. I'm going to pick up 3 more seed beads because I'm on the end. And I'm going to go, whoops, don't lose them, down the center bead again. And because I don't like the way these beads are behaving here, you don't have to do this, because actually it doesn't look bad, but I'm anal. I am going to go, I'm going to pull this thread over, I'm going to go down these 2 beads that don't look like they're sitting on top of each other very nicely. Go back up the 2 next to it. And then back down those 2 again to tighten it up. This is just me. And later I'll do the other side when I do the seed beads. Now if you want an extra bead on the bottom to make a point, you can weave all the way down, and I'll do that. Or you could just add 3 seed beads on the bottom like I did on this one. It's kind of hard to see. See, to make it pointed, I just added 3 little 11-0 seed beads, but you could also weave all the way down and add that seed bead. But right now I'm concerned about getting my other side done, so I'm going to weave my way over to here. So I came down 1, going up the next one, and luckily it's jumping right through 1, 2, 3 beads that are under each other, and I'll get up to the top. These look like they're a little bit more cooperative on this side. I don't know what I did wrong, but anyway, now I'm up at the top corner. I'm picking up 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, going down the center, and I'll go down another row and work my way up to the end. Go back up the last 2. Push that in. On the other end, picking up 3 seed beads. Going back down the middle. Dropped 1. Through that middle bead. And except for the bottom, there's your 4mm cube heart. You could take your thread and weave the beads closer together if like that is really annoying me, and I will do that. And there's 6 inches down here. I think I'll use that to put one more cube on. I'll just thread up another needle. Maybe I have one threaded. No. Normally what I do is I have enough thread to weave my way all the way down and just do it. I just might do that. I'm just going to weave down. It doesn't matter what beads you go through. What matters is you come out the bottom and no thread is showing. So I'm going down here. If I can get through a couple of times, a couple of beads or a couple of rows at a time, all is well. Or you could just use that thread on the bottom if that's long enough. Now, like I said, this I like the rounded one. Is a little bit harder to do because there's not much to get a hold of. But you could use 8mm round seed beads if you want a smaller heart. 3mm cubes if you want a smaller cube heart. Let's just get down to the bottom. Every once in a while you look on the other side, make sure that you aren't messing up and your thread's showing. Let's see how far I could get down here without doing one row at a time. One. I think I got through 2. 2. Got caught on the end. I'll flip it over. There's my end, my tail. Got through 2 more. So what are we going to do here? Seed beads, or I think I'm going to do seed beads. Come out one side. But before I do the seed beads, I just want to show you, if you pick up one cube and you go back up a cube and make a knot, you're still making the just make more of a diamond on the bottom, more of a point. But I like the seed beads, so I'm going to back out of that. You would have to tie a knot at that point and then just weave through a couple of beads. But I do like the seed beads because I like it to be the same as the top. So I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. Get that tail out of the way. Go up a couple. Make a half hitch knot. I'm sure you've seen that before. I know I've showed it before. Just weave through. Make sure that there's some thread there. Make a loop. Go through your loop. Pull it. You've got a half hitch knot. Then you just go up through 1 or 2 beads and cut it off there. You never cut your thread where your knot is, because then your knot might come out. And this one, and there we have our heart. And you could, if you're not satisfied with this, you could take your thread, take a new thread, knot it on there. If I have one started somewhere, I'll do that real quick, actually, just to show you. Like this one is kind of wonky here, but I'm going to go down here weave up a bead before I make a knot, because I don't want my knot to be where I cut my thread. So that's adding thread, and I pull it out. Okay, I'm going to go in here, and go in anywhere. Holding on to that thread so it doesn't pull through this time. I'm going to go up one bead, out the side, make a half hitch knot, put my needle back through. I have a loop, go through the loop, pull so that the thread goes between the beads. Between the beads. Then I can go, like these two are not sitting on top of each other, so I'm going to go up the second bead. Part of the problem here is I picked up a crooked bead. Can you see that crook? Every once in a while you find a real crooked bead, and it kind of gets things a little messed up, but wrong needle. Okay, where am I? I made my knot. I'm going to go up to the top, and I want these two to sit next to each other. So I'm going to go down, down one and up the other, the ones that I want to sit next to each other. Down here, up here, and down again. Don't go through the seed beads until I pull those to sit more snugly together. So I'm going down the center again. I'm going to do these two on the bottom because those are not sitting snugly next to each other. If I can get in the middle around the seed beads. Nothing sticking out except for the tail end. See, these two beads are not sitting snug. I'm just going to go through them again, that's all. I'm coming out this guy, and I'm going up and back down again, and they're nice and snuggy. Anywhere you see that they haven't been, you didn't snug them up, you just do that. So then I'll weave my way back out to the end side to the side so I can make a half hitch knot again. All this thread is inside. Now you wouldn't even know how much thread I used, except that I'm using black on white. So here I am out on the edge, doesn't matter where, as long as I don't have any thread. This is the end I started with that's getting cut off. I'm going to go up where there's between the beads, where there's thread in between the beads. Make a loop, pull it tight between the beads, come down one or two, and cut my thread off. This is just the anal me. We were finished with this heart probably 10 minutes ago. Okay, so now I just take my scissor and I go as close as I can to my work. Cut that off. I really don't like this white heart because it's white. This I think is beautiful. And you pretty much decide what you want to do. Make it a necklace, just like I added thread there. If you're going to do one side, add thread a little bit lower by going up a bead or two. Make a half hitch knot, making sure that there's thread to grab your thread, make a loop, hold the end, pull it tight. Wherever you're going to want to put your wire protector, whether it be the end or the middle, that's where you want to come out. Too many needles. So I'm going to say you want to put 2 wire protectors in the middle. So here's your thread coming out. I did do my knot, right? I'm just going to cut this guy off here. Go up one side of the wire protector and down the other. I like to do it twice, but I really don't think it's necessary. Go up one side, down the other side. I'm not letting you see what I'm doing, am I? I went up one side of the wire protector. Kind of hard to stay in camera when you're handling tiny stuff. And I'm going down the other side of the wire protector. You could just do this with a closed jump ring also. And you pull it tight. So now that, probably could have used a double thread too. Go back down that center bead. And it turned itself around. I want it to sit straight. Yeah, I goofed somewhere. Sit straight up. So I will go, I'll just make a knot here. And I'll go back up the center, so I could do it twice. Go through, make a half-hitch knot, watch those, watch the thread go between the beads for the knot. Go up the center without hitting the seed beads. Probably should have done this before we did the seed beads, but whatever. What's done is done. I'm going to go back up this wire protector on one side. I have my computer glasses on, not my beading glasses. And I am too stubborn to change. Because this is really, this hole is tiny. I am going to change. Where are they? These are like mega lenses. Now if I had doubled the thread, I wouldn't have to go through here twice, but I didn't. Okay, up one side of the wire protector, around the top and down the bottom, and down the center again, center bead again. And then you do the same thing on the other side if you want one on each side. If you want it to fall at an angle, then I would use the end bead, not the middle bead. But you can be the judge of that. I made you crooked. Go down a couple of beads and cut it off. I already made a knot. I think I did. I'll make another knot. Half hitch knot. Make sure there's thread in there grabbing it. Make a loop. Pull it through. Make sure the thread is between the beads, not sticking out. Go down a couple more. Tie it. Now for those that don't know how to attach a jump ring really quickly, it's simple. Here is the jump ring. I could be either putting an ear wire, which I probably wouldn't do on such a big piece, a lobster claw to make it a purse charm, or whatever else, a chain. You grab, there's the slit in the jump ring. I'm going to open it up so you can see the slit better. Take 2 pairs of flat nose pliers and half of the table with you. See, there is the slit. What you do to open it is you push one away from each other. Let's go through the wire protector. Hang your chain on there if you're going to hang chain, or your lobster claw if you want to make it a little purse charm or wallet charm. Then you take your 2 flat nose pliers and you go towards each other and just pass a little bit and bring it back. I'm just trying to get my plier in there. Okay. Can you see I'm pushing them towards each other? I passed and brought them back so that they're exactly, there is no slit there. If there is, I need new glasses. And this, my dear, is a purse charm. To hang that on a wallet. But my suggestion is not to do them in white cubes. This, I think, is really beautiful. And you can do it in any color seed bead. This is a cranberry. This is my Yuki metallic bronze. That's very pretty. And this is rainbow opal transparent white. I've made a lot of beautiful things with these 4mm white cubes, but I don't think this heart with the black thread is one of them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll be back soon.